Hello, welcome to Maths with Jay. So we have a cubic equation which has got roots alpha, beta and gamma. We want to write down a cubic equation which has roots alpha squared, beta squared and gamma squared. So one way of doing this is to first of all write down the original equation in terms of its roots. So that would be x minus alpha times x minus beta times x minus gamma is 0. And then if we multiply that out, we'll get x cubed, and x squared will be multiplied by minus alpha, minus beta and minus gamma. So we could write that as minus alpha plus beta plus gamma times x squared. And then the x term will be multiplied by alpha beta, beta gamma and gamma alpha. And finally, the constant term will be minus alpha beta gamma. And then we can compare coefficients. So if we look at the original equation, we can see that there is no term in x squared, but here we've got x squared being multiplied by minus alpha plus beta plus gamma. So that tells us that to start with, alpha plus beta plus gamma must be 0. If we look at the x term, then we've got alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha is equal to, and this time we're looking at the x term in the original equation, so we can see that that's equal to 3. And finally the constant term, we've got minus alpha beta gamma must be the same as 2, so alpha beta gamma is minus 2. So we know all that from the information given in the question. So let's just move that to one side. So now we need to think about what we actually want. Well, we want the new equation to have roots alpha squared, beta squared and gamma squared. So that means what we want is alpha squared plus beta squared plus gamma squared, and alpha squared, beta squared plus beta squared, gamma squared plus gamma squared, alpha squared. And finally we'll want the product of those roots, so that's alpha squared, beta squared, gamma squared. So we need to work out all of those from what we're given. So let's start off with the first one. So we're trying to find alpha squared plus beta squared plus gamma squared. So let's start with what we're given. So we know alpha plus beta plus gamma. So what we're going to do is square that. So when we multiply out those brackets, you can see that we get alpha squared plus beta squared plus gamma squared, and we'll also have 2 alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha. So you can see there that we've got all 9 terms from multiplying out those 2 brackets. And remember, we're trying to find alpha squared plus beta squared plus gamma squared. So let's now make that the subject. So that will be equal to alpha plus beta plus gamma all squared, subtract 2 alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha. So we're subtracting 2 alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha from both sides. And now we can substitute in the values that we know. We know that alpha plus beta plus gamma is 0, so that will be 0 squared, which is 0. And then we've got minus 2 times alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha, which is 3. So that's equal to minus 6. So we have found this. So now let's have a look at how we can find the next one, and let's give ourselves some more space. So the next thing we want to find is alpha squared beta squared plus beta squared gamma squared plus gamma squared alpha squared. So we'll go back to what we actually know, and we will write down the square of alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha. So as we did last time, let's write down that bracket twice so it's really clear what we're doing. And then multiplying that out, alpha squared beta squared plus beta squared gamma squared plus gamma squared alpha squared. So that's the easy bit. So those are 3 terms, and we have now got 6 more terms. So we're going to have things like alpha beta times beta gamma. So that will be alpha beta squared gamma. And we'll have that twice, won't we? So we're going to have 2 lots of alpha beta squared gamma, and similarly beta gamma squared alpha and gamma alpha squared beta. So the first 3 terms are just what we want, so let's leave those as they are. And then we're going to add on 2. So now we're looking at this to see what we can do to simplify it, and bearing in mind what we already know. Now actually each term has got an alpha, beta and gamma in it, hasn't it? So we can take that outside the bracket, we can factorise. So we've got alpha, beta, gamma multiplied by beta plus gamma plus alpha. So let's just write that in alphabetical order, alpha plus beta plus gamma. And then we're ready to write down what we want on the left hand side. In other words, we're trying to find alpha squared beta squared plus beta squared gamma squared plus gamma squared alpha squared. So that's equal to alpha beta plus beta gamma plus gamma alpha all squared minus 2 alpha beta gamma times alpha plus beta plus gamma. And then it's just a matter of substituting in the values that we already know. So we've got 3 squared minus 2 times minus 2 times alpha plus beta plus gamma, and that is 0. So this just comes to 3 squared, or 9. So let's add that to our list of things that we know, and then I think we've got space here just to work out alpha squared beta squared gamma squared. That's going to be alpha beta gamma all squared. So that's going to be negative 2 squared, so that's 4. So we now have all the information that we need to write down the required equation. So let's clear some space. So remember, we're trying to write down the equation whose roots are alpha squared, beta squared and gamma squared. So let's write that down just below the original equation so that we can clearly see what we're going to be doing. So I'm just replacing alpha by alpha squared, beta by beta squared and gamma by gamma squared. So we're going to have this. So then it will be really obvious where everything is coming from, I hope. Okay, so now it's just a matter of substituting these values that we've just found. So we have got x cubed minus, so alpha squared plus beta squared plus gamma squared is negative 6, so that's negative 6 times x squared plus, and then you can see that value is going to be 9 multiplying x, and then we've got minus 4 for the constant. So the required equation is x cubed plus 6x squared plus 9x minus 4 equals 0. You might like to think about another method that you could have used to write down this equation, and the method still wouldn't require you to write down the actual roots of the original equation or of this final equation. And and you might well find that method simpler than this one.